Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Abu Murad. I'll be moderating the session, and I'll also be presenting the results of the study conducted by InfoPro. Today we have with us Ms. Soler Aznavourian and Mrs. Renda Hamzi. Ms. Aznavourian, she is currently the HR manager at United Sports of Lebanon, and she has been with United Sports of Lebanon since 2012, and previously she was the deputy HR manager of Bestseller. Ms. Renda Hamzi, she is currently the HR manager of SCAF, and previously she worked at Bank Med and Crédit Libanais as training manager. She also was the senior HR business manager, business partner at National Bank of Kuwait and Al Sayer Group. And she has taught many undergraduate and graduate courses at AUB and American University of Kuwait. Okay, so we're going to start with our presentation, and please, let's leave all questions or comments till the end. I'm going to start the presentation, and then Mrs. Skaf and Mrs. Aznavourian will comment on the presentation itself, and then we'll open up the Q&A for everybody if you have any questions, so that we can respond to them. Okay, basically what we have done, as you know, InfoPro since 2012 has been carrying out a salary scale survey, a comprehensive salary scale survey covering several sectors. So this year, of course, we did the same. We covered 11 sectors and subsectors. We conducted interviews with approximately 150 small, medium, and large companies across the various sectors. And of course, in our salary scale, of course, we took some basic things into account. Definitely, when conducting a salary scale, it's important, of course, as you all know, when conducting the matching, to do the matching across job descriptions, there has to be a minimum number of matches for each job position. Of course, outliers are omitted, and the calculation was done. Basically, now what we're going to be showing you is a comparison with 2012. So we're going to do that by showing you the compounded annual growth rate, okay, for some positions. Of course, we cannot include the actual salary scales for each sector within the presentation. That, of course, will be on our website at a later stage and will, of course, be published in Lebanon Opportunities. But for now, we'll be showing you highlights of some of the results. Okay, salaries and their evolution. Okay, so basically, okay, we notice here, for example, that of course certain sectors had more of a salary increase than others since 2012 to now. For the construction and manufacturing industry, they had the least salary increases when comparing their salary scales in 2012 to their current results. And of course, when we say no increase here, we're basically, this means that there was a compounded annual growth rate of less than 1%. So if you take that as 1% on a 6-year duration, so that's somewhere, that means up to 6% in the 6-year duration. Okay, so this was construction and manufacturing. And then we have advertising, accounting and finance, insurance, and retail. Here, the compounded annual growth rate was between 1% to 2%. From 2016 to now, 2012 to now. So again, we can, in a way, take that between 1 to 2%, multiply it by 6-year duration, and that will give us a ballpark figure. We have hotels, the fast-moving consumer goods sector, travel, and IT. They performed better than the previous sectors, which we've highlighted below. And here we have a compounded annual growth rate between 2 to 3%. And we have restaurants which had the highest salary increase since 2012. Okay. With a compounded annual growth rate of more than 3%. If we now we're going to look at each sector by sector and go into the positions with the highest increases. For example, for accounting and finance, increase in salaries were basically for occupations with auditing as a specialty. And here we can see, for example, for senior internal auditor and senior external auditor. For this sector, okay, we only looked at the salaries from 2006 to now. So this is a 2-year duration. So if you're looking at the compounded annual growth rate, that would be, for example, a 10 to 12% increase in the past 2 years. So that's something you have to be careful about. And here we just, as I said, we couldn't show the entire salary scale, okay, but we did place some information at the bottom. For example, for senior internal auditor with 5 years experience, the salary would be somewhere between 1,600 to 2,200. Okay, as I said, basically I will mention that this presentation and the actual session will be on the Opportunities website, on our website, and everybody who registered will receive a link so you can download all of this. Okay. For the advertising sector, okay, the positions with the highest increases were basically those who deal with clients and those on the creative end. And here we have, for example, the art director, a media executive, we have the creative director, we have a media planner, okay, but we did not place all of them here because the compound annual growth rate was a bit less. So these were basically the positions with the highest salary increases from 2012 to now. For the insurance sector, okay, we noticed that there wasn't an increase for decision makers. We can see that for the IT manager, there was a salary, it had one of the highest salary increases, but increase in salaries were mainly for support staff, junior actuarials, junior accountants, secretaries, executive secretaries. They had more of a salary increase than other positions. In the retail sector, okay, there was a steady increase in salaries in the past 2 years. We noticed that across the board, there was some increase in salaries. The highest increase were for positions dealing with clients and dealing with cash. We have, for example, store manager. Okay, and this is also for the past 2 years, by the way. So I'm highlighting the ones which we calculated the position for the last 2 years. I'm going to indicate that. Cashier, invoicing officer, we have junior accountants. So these were some of the positions that had the highest increase in salaries. For hotels, we saw no increase in the salaries or in salary scale for decision makers. Okay, here we can see that we had front desk assistants, front office managers, we had technicians, maintenance employees who handle maintenance, technicians, front office executives. So these were the positions that had the most increase. The construction sector did not see an increase in the past 2 years. Some positions like architect, engineers actually saw a slight decrease in salaries. And we'll notice that the compound annual growth rate is actually on the low side. And we can see that the positions that had the highest increase were foreman, construction manager, surveyor. For the fast-moving consumer goods sector, okay, salaries have seen an increase for decision makers mainly, and we can see the distribution manager, sales manager, general manager. Okay, so these were the most prominent. For the IT sector, basically salaries saw an increase for network management. Here, the senior network engineer, web developers. We can see here the senior network engineer with a compound annual growth rate of 5.2, technical support, web developer. Also, we have network engineer, not only the senior, also technical sales. Those were the positions that saw an increase in the past couple of years. For manufacturing, The situation with manufacturing also was not very positive. Salaries did not see increase in the past 2 years, and in general, the increase was mainly for skilled labor. Okay, we have skilled workers, formalities clerks, or people who handle paperwork, accountant, and so on. But for other positions, we did not see much of an increase. For restaurants, which was basically which had the most increase in salaries, it was the highest increase was for restaurant manager, head chef, catering services manager. So these were the positions, and then we have travel and tourism. Again, no increase for decision makers, higher increase for positions dealing with customers, such as tour coordinators, office representatives at the airport, drivers, and so on. Also, when we were interviewing the companies, we also tapped into their recruitment needs and difficulties. And basically, what we assessed was the positions that were most in demand across sectors, and the position that they had the most difficulty in recruiting. And what we can see for accounting and finance, for example, the positions that were highlighted as most in demand were accountants, auditors, business development personnel, investment bankers, and senior financial analysts, while those that were hardest to fill were auditing manager and business development personnel. For the positions most in demand, basically, except for technical positions such as the senior financial analyst, which the requirement was 5 years of industry experience, the remaining positions were basically the requirement was experience up to 3 years. And for accountants and auditors, there was really no need for experience. For the positions that were hardest to fill, basically companies told us that there was a lack of experience and there were a lack of candidates for such positions, especially for business development personnel. This was a tough one. To find people who were actually who had the experience or who were interested in working in business development. For advertising, the positions most in demand that were highlighted by companies were art director, copywriter, digital media executive, graphic designer, and marketing executives. The positions that were hard to fill, we can see our art director again, copywriter, senior digital media executive, and graphic designer. Basically, for art director, companies were looking for 2 to 5 years of experience. Okay, while for the remaining positions, it was somewhere between no experience to 2 to 3 years of experience. Okay, regarding the positions hard to fill, mainly we were informed by companies that at times they had difficulty in finding applicants with the creativity required. For graphic designers and copywriters, candidates were more interested in freelance opportunities rather than in full-time positions. There was a lack of experience, specifically when we're talking about the senior digital media executive. It was challenging to find people with the experience who could carry out the tasks required. For the insurance sector, we noticed that positions that were most in demand are junior accountant, junior underwriter, and salespeople or salesperson. And here, for the junior underwriter accountant, no experience is required. Salespeople, it had to be up to 5 years of experience. With some insurance companies actually recruiting people who were actually recruiting students at times. And this is a problem in a higher turnover because these were not very stable. Okay, in the positions that were hard to fill, which we can see are branch manager, head of big data, and salespeople. The problem was actually lack of applicants with experience required. And for example, the branch managers, the problem here was finding a person with managerial skills, with team management skills, actually. For the salespeople, as I said, this was problematic for some of the companies because they were hiring students, and also this was problematic because they could not. It was very difficult to find people with experience required who were interested in working as salespeople. In retail, positions also most in demand were salesperson, cashier, counter attendant, showroom manager, branch manager, and graphic designers. Okay, and here basically we're looking for branch manager and showroom manager for people with 5 years of experience. The remaining positions, basically it was from no experience at all to 3 years of experience. The positions that companies were having a hard time filling were inventory controller, salespeople, and branch managers. Okay, and here again there was a lack of experience in retail field, lack of managerial skills, in particular for the branch manager. For hotels, positions that were most in demand are head waiter, waiter, commis waiter, head chef, pastry chef, telephone operator, and receptionist. And again, here we can see that for head chef and pastry chef, we're looking at people with 2 to 5 years experience. Remaining positions, waiter, head waiter, and so on. We're looking, and telephone operator and receptionist. We're looking from no experience up to 2 years of experience. But the positions which were hardest to fill were head waiter, waiter, and pastry chef. And basically, the problem here was that were cited by companies was a lack of Lebanese candidates to find for these positions, high turnover as a result of recruiting students as waiters, and in the case of pastry chefs, high salary expectations. So the salaries varied somewhere between 25 to, candidates expected a salary which was 25 to 50% higher than what was being offered. For the construction sector, positions most in demand, as you can see, architects, engineers, construction managers, and so on. Those that were hardest to fill were basically planner and project manager. Regarding years of experience, we can see here for the construction manager and project manager, we're looking at 15 years plus of experience. But for the remaining positions, it was somewhere between no experience at all for engineers and so on, up to 3 years of experience. Okay, for the planner and the project manager, the main problem was lack of experience in management programs and specialized software for the planner. And companies highlighted, for example, programs such as Primavera. And for the project manager, inability to find a person with the experience required or who was willing to adapt and learn new things. Okay, so these were some of the problems faced by this sector. For fast-moving consumer goods, we can see that the positions were cashier / counter attendant, heavy vehicle driver, salesperson, and phone operator. And for the salesperson, it was up to 5 years of experience. Remaining positions, it was up to 2 years of experience. The positions that were hardest to fill were heavy vehicle driver, and this was basically it was a problem of finding a person with a driver's license, with the suitable driver's license, and salespeople because of their inability to adapt to the working environment or conditions. They lacked industry experience, and of course, it was a problem of high turnover. For IT, we can see that the positions most in demand were application consultants, engineers, network software systems, customer support technicians, graphic designers, logistics officers, and developers, UI, UX designers. And the positions that were hardest to fill were chief information officer, database administrator, quality assurance manager, salespeople again, and developers. The years of experience required of positions most in demand were up to 2 years experience, of course, except for web developers and the UI UX designers. And the problems they faced in filling these positions, or the positions that were hardest to fill, were basically lack of applicants with the experience required, high turnover rate, and for the salespeople, it was difficulty in finding applicants with business communication skills and able to adapt to the working environment. Restaurants, we'll see here a similarity between restaurants and hotels, of course. As we see, positions most in demand are head waiters, waiters, commis waiters, kitchen crew, cashiers, hostesses, chefs, chef de partie, de rang, commis, head, branch managers. And the positions which were hardest to fill were also, as you can see, head waiter, waiter, commis waiter, runner, hostess, and the chef de partie, and different type of and chef commis, pastry, and pastry chef, and head chef. Okay, for the positions most in demand, basically for the chefs, companies were looking for, restaurants were looking for individuals with 2 to 10 years of experience. For the other positions, it was up to 2 years of experience. Problems faced by restaurants were lack of Lebanese candidates, lack of applicants who have sufficient industry or specialized experience. So here, basically, when we're talking about pastry chefs, when we're talking about, for example, for some of the restaurants, they require bakers, for example. They had a tough time finding people who had specialized experience and also who had the education and the skill. And also here we have high salary expectations, and this was, as again we're saying, they required salaries which were 25% to 50% higher than what was being offered. For travel and tourism, the positions most in demand, we can see ticketing and reservation agents, travel consultants, hotel reservation agents, and accountants. And the ones hardest to fill were ticketing and reservation agents. And mainly here, we're looking, they had a problem with lack of applicants with sufficient industry experience, or there were also high salary expectations here also. The best paying sectors for decision makers, okay? Here what we can see for general managers, if we're looking at general managers across a variety of sectors, and here we're looking at 10 to 20 years of experience, of course, we can see that the least paying sectors for general managers are the restaurant and the retail sector, and the highest paying sector is insurance sector. We can see also the advertising sector and fast-moving consumer goods. For financial manager, from 7 to 20 years of experience, we can see the lowest here, okay, it starts at the construction sector at 2,350 and going up to 4,500. This is followed by retail. The highest is the insurance sector. For HR managers, okay, here again we see that the IT sector is the lowest paying sector for HR managers, followed by hotels, by the insurance sector, and the highest paying are the accounting, financial services sector. Salaries for the IT manager, and again this is 7 to 20 years of experience, we can see that the lowest is in the advertising sector, and it goes up basically in the retail sector. It's the highest paying for the IT manager position, but we can see that at 20 years of experience, salaries are really quite close across the various sectors. For sales manager, and here I'd like to highlight that these are basic salaries, so here we don't take commissions into account or benefits and so on. These are just basic salaries. Okay, for sales manager, here we can see that hotels and IT sector are the lowest paying sector. Fast-moving consumer good is the highest paying sector. Okay, so basically this was our presentation. Again, this will be available on our website. Okay, and all people who registered will receive a link. Now I'm going to leave the floor to Mrs. Randa Hamzi and then Mrs. Aznavourian.
Hello. I'll go over my experience with SCAF and what were the challenges hiring during that period. Some of the challenging jobs that we faced were mainly blue-collar employees. يعني upholstery, SCAF is they are known for fabric, curtains, and some furniture. So they do manufacturing, and they are in the retail business as well. So what was challenging is hiring for upholstery لمنجدين يعني knitters and cutters, sample knitters, sample cutters. Drivers, heavy vehicle driver was a challenge. We got a number of non-Lebanese candidates, but we stick to Lebanese, of course, especially in these jobs. So that was a challenge for us. For the pay, showroom managers and salespeople, most of our salespeople are either interior consultants or sales consultants with a background as interior consultants or graphic consultants. So that was a challenge as well. The challenge was mainly not in sales, in managing people. So managing people from a technical point of view and from a behavioral point of view. Especially with the millennials, it's not easy. Long hours for the millennials and being managed is not easy. Career path is a challenge. What else? Career path and career ladders. So we were working on career path and the career ladders and performance management, appraising employees from technical and behavioral KPIs as well, of course. So this is new to the culture. Usually people were promoted and recognized based on the years of experience. So the change of the culture from entitlement to a performance-driven culture was a challenge. But hopefully we are getting there. Changing the culture is a challenge, but slowly but surely we are getting there. These were the main challenges that we faced. I don't think if this is beneficial.
What about the salaries, the evolution of salaries in the past couple of years?
Yeah,
we did on that front?
Yeah, we did a salary survey, and compared to the market, we realized that salespeople are paid way above the market. So usually, from my experience in the Gulf and abroad, salespeople are not paid that much because the main focus is on the targets. You have targets and they get incentives. But here there was salaries were high compared to the market. Some of them like 30% higher, 40% higher. So we will reconsider the salaries as well. And for the laborers, blue collars employees, the salaries are high because this is a rare. It's very hard to hire laborers. Yani people, technical laborers, it's very hard to hire. And graphic designers as well. It took us almost a year to find a graphic designer with like 2 to 3 years of experience. Yeah. For managers, I said the challenge was managing employees. Employees don't like to be managed, yani. As you know, they like to be led, not managed. And this is a new concept, and we want people to be led, not managed, yani, especially with the millennials. Yes?
So what's your sourcing strategy?
Sourcing? LinkedIn, Bait.com. We visit job fairs. We go into job fairs. We went twice this year. Lebanese hunt. There's something Lebanese. Hunting Lebanese. Yeah.
Okay. Regarding the evolution, for example, how have salaries evolved in the sector in the past couple of years? For the retail sector or
the question is how the salaries evolved in the retail sector throughout the year?
No, I'm just wondering, what you've seen in our survey, does that, for example, you're in the retail sector also, Soler?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was
is
just...
it fine? Can you hear me? Okay, Anna, I will talk about my experience in the retail sector, especially at USL. You mentioned in your presentation that the highest salary increases with, I guess, the store manager and the cashier. For us, it wasn't like that. It was more the salespeople, the junior sales and the senior sales. We stretched their salaries. Store managers were basically the same. We don't have cashiers in our stores. The salespeople do the operation themselves. But this was the main increase in the company. The office, the back office, we didn't have any problem in that. The salaries remained the same. So basically, the increases were in our stores as salespeople, junior, senior, and team leaders.
Is it because of the high turnover?
No. We always had high turnover, whether in USL or at Bestseller before, because we recruit university students. But that's not the issue. The issue is that people are getting paid more as salespeople. Other companies are focusing on giving more commission. Our commission is not that much, so we hired the basic salaries. Before, we used to have a formula of having, for example, a certain salary, let's say $450, and for salespeople without any experience. And we used to add, after 6 months, we used to evaluate their performance, and if they were good, we used to hire that to $530, let's say. Now, there is no chance, though. You can't find anyone who might work with that salary as basic, of course, without the commission, without the transportation. So that was the case. We hired the salespeople's basic salaries as retail. So basically, the evolution was more or less the positions that we had in the stores. As recruitment, our challenges are basically more into the retail operations managers. Operation manager are the managers who are responsible for the store's performance as a whole and monitoring their, setting the budgets, basically their performances, motivating them, the control. This is a main issue because we don't have many people who have this experience in Lebanon. Usually people who are experts in the retail sector are those basically employees who started at the retail and who wanted to continue as career in the retail. Mostly they do not have university degrees. So our operation managers or the higher level managers, we ask, it is a requirement for them to have a university degree. So this is an issue because most of them, the applicants who apply, do not have this degree. So that's one as operation manager. We have a problem finding visual merchandisers. Visual merchandisers are those who are responsible in fixing or the display in the stores. We at USL, we have a certain standard of employing we have a certain standard and profile in employing our employees. So basically the visual merchandiser, same as the operation manager, they come from a background that we prefer basically someone who has higher qualifications than the people who apply. So basically visual merchandiser is an issue as well. We have a problem in hiring salespeople in certain areas. Because let's say that area are maybe the people who live in that area are well off and don't prefer to probably work in other sectors other than sales. Basically, that's it. We don't have a problem in finding branch managers. We have We have a lot waiting for, for their promotion because we work on the career path in our stores. We do not recruit from outside unless we don't have the profile that we need in our stores. So basically, that's it. Other than that, I don't have a problem. I think the presentation shows or reflects what's happening in Lebanon as a retail industry. But these 2 points, I guess, probably just to note that there are new positions that are in trend now, which are taking probably the place of other positions, which are replacing other positions. So these the salaries are not yet set for those positions. We try to conduct interviews and see the candidates what they are asking, and we see the profile if it fits or not, and we just hire like that.
So some positions are redundant?
Some positions, it's not redundancy, it's some positions are being more important than others. For example, 5 years ago, we didn't have anyone managing the digital media, for example. We didn't have digital media specialists or whatever. We had a marketing manager. The marketing manager used to do traditional marketing, billboards and whatever, flyers and so on. Now that position of traditional marketing is more or less not as important as the digital marketing. So the digital marketing specialist it's being given more importance to that position rather than the marketing manager or whatever, the traditional marketing. So
and are you having problems with finding digital marketing?
Not at all, because everyone uses digital marketing now, and if they have a background of marketing and if they are active on the digital media and they like it and they take some courses, or we give them courses, we send them to courses, so it's fine.
They can develop themselves.
Yeah, it's not something that's hard.
Okay. Mrs. Hamzi, would you like to add something in general regarding salary scales, not in your industry in specific, but in general as a whole? Is that there are certain trends, both? Okay. So if there are certain trends, anything that from your experience that you've been seeing for the past couple of years?
Well, we are working on enriching the jobs, so that they get better salaries, well, depending on the demand of the market, of course. For the salary scale, we did a salary scale based on the point factor, so people are rated based on the point sector and the point factor, and that's how they're segregated into levels, and it's managerial, senior managers, laborers.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to open up for Q&A if you have any questions that you would like us to answer and so on. Yeah.
Question from... Hi, thanks, Jennifer. Question for your presentation, potentially for the HR managers. You showed, I think, the average 5-year salary at about $2,000 a month. So, given the cost of, and I believe these salaries are for university graduates. I mean, across the board, but you'd rather hire a university graduate than a non-university graduate anytime. Firstly, why? Because I think the reason you are having difficulties hiring a graphic designer with 3 years experience, and probably the results are from your data, it takes about 5 years work, at least 5 years work, to cover the cost of going to university, given the average scales, which is a very long time in the scale of normal countries. Then you'd question, why am I going to university if it takes me 5 years to cover the cost of going? In that 5-year time, I can build enough experience. Having not gone to university, I would earn the same and save that money. So why should I go to university, firstly? And secondly, why are you hiring university graduates and paying them little, as opposed to hire non-university graduates, they would be very happy with that salary, and offering them an in-house training might solve a lot of problems that we currently see in the country.
Developing in-house training is good, but we're investing in training. It's big money, and I'm very much pro training. I mean, I started as a training manager, so definitely training is a must. But the trend is to hire university students. Non-university, we don't have to. Do we have technical schools in Lebanon? If you want to hire a salesperson, so what background would you hire? Someone with no experience whatsoever, with no university degree, not even a technical degree. So you need not only the skill of selling. There is, as I said, technical and behavioral.
Sorry if I can intervene. I agree.
Yeah.
You're not offering the salaries for the...
Compared to the market, compared to the market, we're not getting a high turnover of salespeople. No. The turnover is mainly in the technical skills and the blue-collar employees, not the showroom people, interior consultants or graphic consultants. No, we're not getting a high turnover at all. Not a turnover even. People are not leaving. It's not only the salary that's motivating employees. It's the atmosphere. It's the business by itself. Maybe compared to other sectors, our salaries, it's not that they are low, they are okay. But there are other motivators other than the salaries. I don't know if I answered your question. So if you were in my shoes, not hiring university students, not even someone with a technical background and no experience, so what caliber of employees would you hire? What do you want to be known?
Some universities that are churning out very good tech labor that might just need a few years training. That, like the graphic designer problem that you highlighted. I just feel there's a lot of this going on because of the cost of having graduated, having gone to 3 or 4 years to get that degree, and then you're getting $800 or $1,000 if you're lucky on your first year.
Yeah.
$2,000 up to 5 years if you're lucky. It's, I've spent a lot of money for this.
You're right.
Yeah.
But as she said in the presentation, Jennifer, they would rather go into a freelance job than having a steady job.
Yeah, for some sectors here, we were talking, for example, in the advertising sector, and actually for graphic designers and copywriters, but I guess maybe that applies to graphic designers and other sectors too. But I would like to highlight that the salary scale, again, these are basic salaries. So there is something, we did not map non-cash benefits, and so these are basic salaries. Okay, so sometimes actually the benefits might be what also in addition to the salary itself, of course. But again, for salespeople, you have the commission, which is of course doesn't show here. So this is the basic without the commission. So I don't know if also that.
But when you said university, you meant technical school as well?
Yeah.
No, neither university nor technical schools. You said someone who hasn't gone to any kind of institution. We do employ people who graduate from technical schools, like in accounting or whatever. We don't have a problem with the background of the person. We have a preference regarding the profile of the person. The ambition, the presentation, the language skills. It's about the whole package. It's not about only if there are a lot of people who cannot afford to go to universities. They have graduated from technical schools, but they have worked themselves and on themselves, and they have, like, their language is good, their profile is good, they have good experience. So we don't have a problem at all employing such candidates.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you hire from, it's a must to hire from a university graduates. Right. But in my opinion, most universities in Lebanon are not universities. These are cash registers. And you should, if I had the business where whenever I want to hire people, there are few universities that I would choose from, with all my respect to other universities. Because I'm a recruiter, and sometimes I do interviews for people, for example, graduating in finance, and I will ask them what the difference between a balance sheet and income statement. They don't know. Really, they don't know. So our education is becoming very, very weak. With those mushroomed universities that are the newly come, everybody knows them. Yeah. There are few universities that you can rely on. Thank you.
And that is why we do hire people who go to technical schools. It all depends on their technical skills. It depends on the position and the technical skills.
Can you mention your name?
How many awards?
This is the most important thing for you to said, I think.
About what?
What you said is a very, very important issue.
Exactly.
I appreciate and I would like to say thank you for what you said.
When we say university graduate, it doesn't mean that most of them they understand what they have studied. Most of them they have paid for the degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for instance, interior designers and sales consultants, okay, those who have graduated from universities like, I'm not talking AUB or LAU, definitely not, but for instance, ALBA, right? Those graduates of ALBA, for example, I'm giving ALBA as an example, for interior consultants or graphic designers, and would you hire someone with no university degree at all for an interior consultant? How is he going to decorate your house? How is he going to counsel you or guide you?
He may be very talented, you know.
Okay, talent is fine, but talent with training maybe, but not talent at all. Not talent by itself with no background.
There you see young people, they are really outstanding.
Yeah.
Very talented, I understand.
Really outstanding. And they make a whole difference among a group. So it's personality also plays a major role.
Of course. Yeah. أكيد I'm 100% sure that personality, you hire for talent and you train on skills, of course, but you have to train somewhere. And you cannot just hire with no experience and no background, just hire a fresh graduate with no background whatsoever. It's very challenging. And our customers are difficult customers, and the customers are getting difficult, and we are getting very difficult. So you need to have a base. Yeah.
Even among university graduates who come from reputable universities, there are big differences between somebody who has gone through a training or worked during university years and somebody who hasn't.
Definitely.
There's a big difference.
Of course. Training makes a big difference. At school or at university, you get trained on things that are not applicable maybe, or it's all theoretical. But when you go on the field, it's very different. That's why training is a must. It's not a luxury. Of course it's not.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to comment again on this point. So perhaps you can plan on the future on studies that focus on the opportunities and the hiring rate versus universities. So this can help perhaps the academia this can challenge the academia to update their performances and to meet the market requirements. Thank you.
You mean like a supply-demand analysis? You mean like what is being supplied by universities versus the requirement from...
You mean the curriculum?
No, I don't mean the curriculum. I mean that the study can make a certain statistic about the people that are, they have the best chances to take the jobs versus their origin, versus their university degrees.
Okay.
Okay.
If I may, I have 2 points to raise. Thank you for the study, the research done by InfoPro. I think it's important that the private sector works with universities about the positions that need to be filled and where there is a gap and how to address it. The second point, I think, universities should revise the curricula to create graduates who find job opportunities. We don't need everybody to be lawyers or doctors or engineers. And second, it's important to introduce internship while we are at universities, because by the time you graduate, it's easier to find the jobs that are needed. Thank you.
Yeah, at SCAF, we do offer internship. University students do approach SCAF for internship, and we do a number of internship across. I think you all heard me right. We do a number of internships for students, from university students. They come for 2-3 months period, and then they do a report that, not just an internship by itself, reporting to the showroom. We ask them for a presentation, a full report to be presented to SCAF and to the university, of course. Yeah, and we give them a certificate, and they get paid for it. So we do encourage internship.
It should be counted like
a credit? Depending on the university, yeah. Yeah.
Hi, I have a question. My name is Hussam Sulaiman from Al-Bunyani Group. Regarding the point that you mentioned in how the new generation prefers to... Thank you. The new generation prefers to be led, not managed. And if ever you are facing the challenge of turnover or of middle management and top management being poached by regional competition, mainly multinationals in the Gulf or the surrounding region, and in my opinion, it is already hard enough to find suitable middle managers, let alone make them leaders. So how do you deal with this kind of unfair grounds for competition given the local market size compared to the regional size with the multinationals or regional competition? Where regional competition being other companies recruiting the staff that you have trained and grew to become middle managers or leaders?
It's the war for talent. You cannot, usually how I see a company, it's a learning environment, and it should be a learning environment or a learning organization. And it's the war for talent. If they get a better offer, good for them. At least we did train. We do have a pool of talents. Those who get approached by other companies, depending on the skills that we have trained them on, good for them. This is
part of the game.
Exactly. Yes.
There's some sort
And
of
in fact,
that you always have a second.
Yeah, succession. Yeah, we do have a succession plan. Yeah, and in fact, some candidates do approach SCAF because it's a learning environment. They know that after a couple of years they get a skill, they get trained on this skill, and they can apply for better positions elsewhere, here or in the Gulf. It's normal. It's the war for talent, which is fair enough for everybody.
So where do you face that?
I didn't know that I should answer. We always have replacements for all the positions, basically, especially the stores. We train all our employees. It is a culture at our company. The managers, we don't just give orders or whatever. We have, whether at the stores or at the office, it's leading by example, as we say. We work together as a team, the whole department. My assistant, she knows everything about HR. I teach her even the payroll, everything. In case one day I leave, she'll be next. This is, I think, it's being a good manager is relying on your assistant or your department to take over the department when not only the person leaves, when in case something happens, and the same goes for the stores. For the stores, it's a different plan. We have different positions. We always, because the stores are basically the most basically the part which is how we say it is the basic. Okay, لو كوكبت.
Arabic.
So basically, in Arabic, no, but it's basically the stores. The highest turnover that we have is at the stores. We have a lot of training that we get from Nike, and we teach our employees. So basically, we have that is what makes the positions appealing for other competitors to recruit from our staff. So basically, that's why we always have a plan to, in case someone leaves, we use replacement.
I think these are the characteristics of a good leader. And you train your subordinates. It's not, and if you are confident enough in what you're doing and knowledgeable enough in what you're doing, you don't need to hide information. You cannot hide information. They're going to get it anyway. And it's a question of insecurity. If we are hiding, it's being insecure. So as an HR manager, of course, with my subordinate, she has everything is on an L drive. Everything is shared. There's nothing on the desktop. Nothing. Neither me nor her. It's open. When I leave, there is a successor. And there is we apply the succession planning across all the showrooms and the corporate services.
Your statistics, based on what companies, what number of companies, exact?
For each sector, the most important thing when doing salary scaling is basically you need to have a specific number of comparators. For example, we should not have for each job position and each job description should not have less than at least 5 comparators. Okay, and at the same time you need to be careful about removing outliers, because sometimes the profile of companies differ, as you know, and this difference will create a problem in your salary scale, and this needs to be smoothened out. In order to smoothen that out, of course you cannot leave outliers موجودين، بس لازم يكون في a minimum number of matches، وهالماتش لازم يكون معمول على الجوب description itself. Okay, so this is the way it works. هلا definitely there were a larger pool، يعني the pool for each.
في حدا ما بيفهم عربي هون؟ يرفع ايده ما بيفهم عربي. حكينا بالعربي.
احكيك بالعربي. اوكي، بكل قطاع كان في تقريبا كنا عم نحكي تقريبا بيتراوحوا بين 10 ل 15 شركه، بس لكل بوزيشن اللي كنا عم نعمل له عم ناخذ السالري سكيل تبعوله كان لازم اتليست يكون في 5 كومباريتورز اوكي لهالبوزيشن، يعني 5 شرك يلي عندهم هالبوزيشن وهالجوب ديسكريبشن. بيقدي 5 اكزاكتلي. لا هلا هون احنا عم نحكي على السالري سكيل. اوكي ايه اكزاكتلي.
ديفرنس بين 5 كومبيتيتورز الكبار اللي اخذتيهم، شركات صغيره عم تدفع سالاريز اكثر صراحه.
ايه هلا ما هون
حطيتيهم.
ايه
نحن ميديوم سكيل كومباني. انا عندي ببيروت مكتبه، عندي بجده، عندي بدبي، عندي باربيل، عم نفتح حاجه بالاردن. اوكي، وبعتبر حالي سمول سكيل لانه كل مكتب فيه بين 6 ل 7 اشخاص موجودين بالمكتب، وعندي معامل خشب معهم. الارقام اللي عم تحطيهم هون بضوبن فريقي انا فيهم بتربروا. سو اتس نوت ريل.
لا مش اتس نوت
منا مزبوطين عندي.
انا عم اقول لك المينيموم
عندي الكومبيتيشن تبعيتي حتى الارقام منا مزبوط عندهم.
انت باي سيكتور؟
انا بالكونستراكشن والمانيفاكتشرينج.
سو هون
انا اركيتكت.
اوكي. السالاريز تبعولنا اعلى من يور سالاريز؟
نو اوطى. عم بقولك انا اذا بعتمد هو السالاريز 3 مرات الفريق بيكبر تبعي.
لا بكل نو ليك
سوري في يجاوبوا اليوم خلص انا وياك اليوم حضرتك لما تعمل لما انا ام ريكروتر one of the major بالمنطقه whatever اللي بدي اقول لك انه انا مرات بوظف سي اف او عنده 15 سنه خبره سي بي اي ب $20,000 بالشهر، هو ذاته نفس الشيء بوظفه ب $5,000 بالشهر. depending on the company. إذا الكمباني بلبنان وعندها geographical reach تبعها regional, they can afford your salaries. Paying higher than market price. وأنت عم تطلع لك ناس أحسن. عم تاخد لا كريم دو لا كريم بالاندستري تبعك. وفي يعني في so many factors بيأثروا على السالري. مش هيك بتقول لك جيني بتشيلهم ما بتحطهم بالستدي تبعها. يعني بيطلع لها واحد عنده $20,000 بتشيلهم ما بتخليهم بالستدي لانه بيخربطوا لها ستدي.
لا بس اللي فيني اقول لك ايه انه الشرك الكونستراكشن فور اكزامبل are well known well established companies in the market and these are their salaries. بس مثل ما قال مستر كواس الاوتلايرز ليك هلا بالاوتلاير
مجبوره تشيلهم
بالسالري سكيل. ما فيني اذا انا كله مبين كل الشرك بيوصلوا ل $5,000 ببوزيشن معين وعندي شركه بتوصل او شركتين بيوصلوا لل10 ولا 12 I cannot keep these. They are not within هيدول I exclude them وأكيد في منهم أوطى بكتير so هيدول definitely are excluded. بس يعني for sure these salaries and these are يعني مثل ما قلت عم نحكي عن minimum of 5 comparators و it goes up to more definitely. هلا فيني اقوله هون انه نحن this salary scale is done all this is for publishing purposes. يعني هيدا رح يكون على باللبنان opportunities ورح يكون على الويب سايت تبعولنا. وقتها نحن بنعمل a customized salary scale for a client في تفاصيل اكثر بنفوت فيها. يعني هونيك بدنا نفوت بالكاش benefits non cash benefits بدنا نفوت بتفاصيل غير يلي بتزيد يعني عن الموجود هون. اكيد
الشركات اللي بلبنان they serve the region بيدفعوا أكثر بكتير بالشركات اللي بلبنان they serve only Lebanon. It's a very small market. يعني لما واحد بده يدفع $10,000 لواحد بيشتغل بشركة بس بتخدم السوق المحلي يعني قد ايه بده يبيع الاونر اوف ذا بزنس لحتى يقدر يغطي له $10,000؟ ما بيقدر لانه very small market. بس لما يكون انت regional you can afford. في شركات كتير باي ذا واي عم يجوا بيفتحوا بلبنان to serve the region. حتى عم يسكروا بالامارات عم يسكروا بالسعوديه خاصه اللي related للاي تي related للويب related للديزاين عم يجوا بيفتحوا بلبنان ولانه they cover the region فارخص لهم يفتحوا بلبنان even though they pay higher than the market price. كواس كونسلتنج.
بونسوار. أول شيء بدي أعتذر منكم ما وصلت 4 وصلت 5 كنت أعمل البرنامج سوا وبالتالي ما راح فيني أعلق على يلي صار. بس ما أنه الحديث انفتح أكثر هلأ بين المشتركين أنا لياس مطر سينوبس Recruitment Agency HR Services. Jenny, you have a problem in your statistics in general. I went through some of your statistics a couple of years ago. I was somehow surprised by the brackets of the salaries. أنا يلي بشتغل بالتوظيف يمكن المسيو اللي سأل السؤال هنيك you'd better ask a recruiter like Aouni or like me because we have more examples than you and we have real examples. نحن بيجي لعنا ناس بيسألوا قديش عم تقبض مش قديش نسأل الشركة قد عم تدفعي تقريبا. So you'd better go through recruitment agent. Yes, perhaps.
بس نحن
يعني بس أنا it will better tune I think your salary scale or your salary brackets to the real market. Anyways أنا بقول وبدي أعترف قدام الكل salaries in Lebanon are really low. In general. أنا كمواطن لبناني عم بحكي هلا كبي كمواطن بلاقي المعاشات بلبنان بهدلة عيب علينا. في مشكلة اجتماعية. Attention, it's not an economic problem. It's not a money problem. It's a sociological, cultural problem for me. We don't do things the way they should be done. And تسأل الشركة دي بدك تدفعي منشوف. هي ليه بدك تشوف؟ معناتها على راس الزبون وعلى حسب العرض والطلب. It's nasty. It's not good for. It's not healthy. Thank you.
هلا Yeah, هلا first I would like to respond to Mr. Matar. هلا regarding salary scales, Mr. Matar يعني internationally salary scales are usually done, you rely on other comparators on companies. You rely on their salary scale. يعني أنا وقت بيجي باخد السالري سكيل تبعولك كشركة وبشتغل على السالري سكيل تبعولك وإكس وواي وزي. I don't take the employee per employee. أنا وهيدي يعني this is the way salary scaling is done. بتشوف كل شركة بتشوف الجوب ديسكريبشنز بتشوف البانز اللي عندهم اياهم بتشوف and so on and this is the way it's worked. هلا definitely يمكن perspective انه واحد ياخذ الموظف وقد ايه الموظف عم بيقول له. هلا sometimes in some surveys this is done okay but this is officially salary scaling is done by taking the comparator يلي هي الشركه مش الموظف. انت بتاخذ الشركه وبتعمل ماتش على الجوب ديسكريبشن تبع هالشخص او هالبوزيشن وبتشتغل عليه. So this is the way and this is the way we do it for our clients. يعني UNDP بيجوا بدهم يعملوا salary scale. نحن salary scale لل UNDP بناخده بخمسة ستة comparators. اوكي بيكون عندنا a list of 10 comparators we go down to 5-6 comparators وبنشتغل على هالخمسة ستة وهالخمسة ستة هن sufficient as long as the profiling is done properly. يعني بآخر نهار an entity like that or whatever organization يعني أي شركة عم نحكي المهم يكون نحن عم نعمل البروفايلينج تبع شركة مزبوط. يعني جاي لعندي شركة X فيها موظفين for example فيها manufacturing company let's say في عندك administration عندك التكنيكال عندك الانجينيرز and so on. انت you need to find a company of a similar profile but at times you need to go to other sectors لأنه you know إنه this company loses some of its engineers to other قطاعات تانية. فهون كمان معقولة يروح هالسالري سكيل مش بس يضلوا محصور بالمانيفاكتشرينج يروح على قطاعات تانيين بس usually it's done with companies not on an employee level. This is something to yeah. ايه سوري في حدا تاني عنده any questions or comments؟
أنا بدي أعلق على اللي قال مستر مطر على السالاريز بلبنان ليه؟ نحن بلبنان كل شيء بنعمله في ريسك. كل شيء بنعمله في ريسك. ياما سكرنا عدنا 6 أشهر بالبيت. اليوم لحتى طالما الأوضاع السياسية والاقتصادية مثل ما هي العالم ما فيها تزيد معاشات. يعني الاونرز اوف ذا بزنس ما فيهم يزيدوا معاشات لانه ما بنعرف اذا بكره بنروح على المكتب اما ما بنروح. ما فيك تحط على ظهرك انت بيرول عالي وبعدين تقول لهم لموظفينك اذا صار شيء بالبلد تقول لهم ما معي ادفع. فهيدا سبب اساسي. عفوا
او تنزل له السالري تبعه.
لا ما فيك تنزل له السالري تبعه.
بس في شركات عملوها.
ايه مظبوط. هلا سوليدار عملتها. سوليدار أكبر شركة بلبنان بعتت ورا موظفينا 25% عملوا كات.
It's solidarity, social solidarity. We all of us are passing through very tough.
إذا بدك $1000 تعيش بالشهر فيك تعيش ب750 ما فيك.
يعني إذا عم تاخذ 1000 بدي أقول لك بدي
أو بدي فللك على البيت.
مش أحسن ما تسكر الشركة؟
الشركة عم يتنعمل أيام الأول ياخذوا بشيء منيح ما ياخذوا.
حرام.
بيلتزم الشخص بيكون عنده التزامات اجتماعية ما فيك تيجي تقول له فرد مرة ما تدفع سند بيتك ما تدفع كان معاشك هلا بدي انزل لك اياه. مشان هيك الأفضل الطريقة الأولانية إنه اليوم يتحسن وضع الشركة بعلوا شوي المعاشات أفضل ما يبلش بالشقلوب.
Anna, can I say just one thing? You mentioned the problem is not economical. Anna, for me, as a retail company, it is. لأنه اليوم when no one is, مش no one, but when the sales, they drop, it is a problem for the company. يعني خلص the targets are not met وهيك. So basically we come to a point either to go to downsizing or not to touch the salaries anymore. يعني اليوم نحن كشركة بنفضل إنه يبقوا salaries مثل ما هن instead of to increase the salaries of other employees and to go to downsizing يعني. So أنا for me it is economical يعني. This is what we're seeing يعني نحن our brands in كان Nike or Converse or other brands that we have they are being affected whether economically whether by online هيدا but they are being affected by sales. So when the profit is not being made as planned, when the sales are not targets are not being met, then how come إنه شو كيف بدنا نزيد لهم السالاريز تبع الموظفين تبعنا? So it's not about being stingy. It's about not having the resources to apply those raises. We are still giving bonuses. يعني يمكن نحن من شركات القليل يمكن at this point in our state of a company we are still giving bonuses. So I don't know. Anna, for me it is economical. It's the number one problem that we are facing, and I'm sure a lot of companies are facing.
Most of the companies today, when they hire executives, they don't want to pay high salaries. They want to pay high bonuses. They would tell me, I want to hire somebody who is CEO for $10,000, and I will give him 7, 8, 9 months bonuses. Because they don't want to have a burden on themselves. But then it's in the whole region, not only in Lebanon. So we're not in a very comfortable, let's say, economic.
We're not.
سوري. بالنسبة فينا نحكي؟ بالنسبة للسالاريز إذا عاليين أو واطين بلبنان أو مش بلبنان، أول مرة بسمعها صراحة. إذا سالاري عالي أو سالاري واطي، ما في شيء اسمه سالاري عالي وسالاري واطي، في شيء اسمه productivity. يا productivity منيحة يا productivity مش منيحة. productivity منيحة رح يقبض كتير، productivity مش منيحة مش رح يقبض كتير. بعدين السوق اللبناني مفتوح، أي موظف لما بده يترك يروح على غير شركة ياخد سالاري أحسن إذا سالاري مش عالي كفاية. وبعدين بسوق في 35% unemployment، كيف يكون في سالري واطي؟ ما الناس قاعدة بلا شغل، عطيهم ليرة بيشتغلوا، مش أحسن ما يقعدوا بالبيت؟
ما بيشتغلوا. يا ما عم نحن شركات نجيب موظفين ما بيشتغلوا. بيقعد بالبيت. بقول لك أنا ما بعرف. أنا قاعد بالبيت، بلش معنا فرجينا. بلش بالشغل. بدي بلش بالشغل. فرجيني شو بتعمل. يا ما بقول لك أنا بشتغل على الزيت، فرجيني شو بتعمل أعطيك بالزيت، بس أنا ما في أعطيك فيه من بعد على الستاندرد تبعي. سوري وأنا ريكروت أنا كده بالزمانات قبل ما نعمل أونلي إكزكتيف، يوم نعمل أونلي إكزكتيف. كده جيني فريش جراتشويت، قول له شو بدك شعب بدك شوية نيوزي ما يجيني بوزيشن، لكن بعدك مصعوب كده. ما أنت بعمل شيء أنت، بعمل حياتك شيء. شو بدك؟ Why you want to manage people? They don't know. بس اللي هو بيكون مانج.
بس هالحق على الجامعات. لأنه الجامعات this is how they teach us. نحن أنا وقت تخرجت هيك فكرت كمان، يمكن كنت من الأشخاص اللي جاوبت هيك، بس this is how you learn theoretically, this is how they brainwash you, and then you go to life. لا okay لا I can't be a manager, I have to start as an assistant, as data entry, as whatever analyst.
Yeah.
نحق على الجامعات.
Yeah. Okay. Any more? Yeah. Sorry. Okay. لكن
sum up to all this session. What are the main challenges اللي حنشوفهم هلا بالنسبة للcompanies وبالنسبة للemployees؟
And I see continuity. I see the challenges with continuity based on the economic situation. I see it scary.
Going concern. Going concern.
Yeah. This is how I see it.
وبالنسبة للemployees للموظفين.
كمان. Staying in the job. Employability is a challenge.
وبالنسبة للسكيلز بنلاحظ كثير شركات كل حدا من عندهم بفضل لا يزيدوا الشغل على الثاني وما يعينوا شيء ثاني محله.
صح وعم بتصير. Because of the economic situation. حدا بيفل أكيد the first thing you stop is recruitment. وبتزيد التاسك you enlarge the job description بس without enrichment يعني you enlarge it بس ما في salary increase.
You have to sacrifice. In these days, both they have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
The employee and the
employer.
It's going to be like this. In Dubai now.
بيقول لك
In many countries, I mean, like in Gulf, they are asking the employee, we have to reduce your salary. So there is a sacrifice in both.
Exactly. It goes both ways. يعني.
Here is still probably stable regarding
reducing the salary. لا, some companies are reducing.
Maybe, but I don't know.
It's not legal, but
it's not legal. It's not legal.
is going to stay like this, then the company's cash flows
I think
not have reserve enough to continue 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 years.
right. Oh, not only it's not legal أكيد to reduce the salary, but what about companies who don't declare all the salary, the full salary to NSSF?
من الأول. It's unethical.
It's unethical, but it's happening.
Yeah. Everything happens.
Undeclared salaries.
Sorry. والله عم بلا أنا I'm seeing إنه بلا.
Thank you so much.